Welcome to another Wrestling Recall. I thought I'd keep doing it for a while. I know I haven't done it consistently, but I kind of like doing this. Picking a match that you guys could see and see what you think of the match after watching, not just going by memory or no memory at all. You actually look at the match, you think about it, and then guess what? We talk about it. This match is from 1989. It is Chi-Town Rumble 1989, where Ricky the Dragon Steamboat gets his first championship, I believe, from the NWA. Now, at this time, all the major promotions, well, the territorial promotions, had collapsed due to the fact that WWF was literally competing with them. So they went having stock like this, the stock like this. And at this time, the NWA, well, technically, the NWA Championship was the WCW Championship. You can see it in the video, which is in the comments below, that it's not the NWA Championship that Ric Flair has been carrying for a few years when he came back after he broke his back in 75. It's the other championship, the one that would be used for WCW, that is World Championship Wrestling. That title right there. That's the one that's being publicized right there. And the Illinois Athletics Commission was actually there. Go figure, back then they used to have the Athletic Commission actually be involved in that kind of stuff. But it was 1989. Two people was at that match. One was Teddy Long, who was involved in the match, and I'll talk about it in a minute. And a very young and botchy JR, Jim Ross. And understand, this is where it gets interesting. When you hear the opening of this match, and you hear Jim Ross, who is very young, it is obvious he's in his 30s there. He's got to be in his early 30s. You can hear in his voice how young he is, how vibrant he is, but also, before the Bell palsy. Now, just in case you don't know, I had this myself back in 2016 where this face went like this. My eye was just locked. I had Bell palsy. It happened to me. Luckily, it was mild. But in JR's situation, it was his entire face. And as you already know, that is JR's face now. But back then, that was before the Bell palsy. And that he was able to talk very fluent and not have to do it like this. Oh, he's kicking a mud hole in him. But here, he would say, he's kicking a mud hole in him. You could hear the difference. JR is very young here. But it also showed how inexperienced he was, because in the opening of this match, when they're presenting this in the Chi-Town Rumble of 89, he botched. JR botched. Unless I'm wrong, because as far as I know, because I looked at the NWA wiki page, he said the first champion of the NWA was Lou Thesz, and that championship was 1905. He's saying it like it's 1905, but in actuality, Lou Thesz was not the first champion of the NWA back in the late 40s, because it was 1948 when the NWA generally became established, around 47, 48. And the first champion, if I'm remembering correctly, was Oliver Brown. He was the first champion. But the one that's memorable is going to be Lou Thesz. He's the most first memorable champion. You can go look at the wiki yourself. If I'm remembering correctly, it's Oliver. I think Oliver. I can't remember exactly. His name is Brown. I think his Orville or Oliver. It could be Orville. No, I think it's Orville. Orville Brown, 1948, he was champion. And then after that, around 1949, it was Lou Thesz. And he became the most established one that made the NWA what it is. But he botched. He said it 1905 more than once. And said it was Lou Thesz instead of Oliver Brown. Unless I'm wrong, it could be. It could be wrong about the name. It's either Orville or Oliver. One of the two. I can't remember right now. But let's make this clear. This was a memorable match for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He had been gone for a couple of years, supposedly taking a break from wrestling. And when he came back, right now, his match, and let's make it clear that Rick and Mr. Ricky has had multiple matches, some of them going up to an hour long. That's not a joke. This was a 27-minute match, not counting the intros for both of them. And I do believe that in this video that Ricky's intro was cut, but the champion that was Ric Flair was not. And like I said, he was holding not the NWA title that had been known for years. It looked like the World Heavyweight Championship from WCW. That's what it looked like. And it is on the WCW page from YouTube. So it was the WCW version, just like what happened with TNA, remember? As well as ECW. They always had someone from the NWA come to their promotion in their territory and fight with the NWA title. But just like ECW, Eastern Championship Wrestling, when it came to Shane Awesome, he made the NWA title irrelevant when he said the ECW title was the greatest title in the world. So it looks like at this point where pretty much the territories were decimated by Vince McMahon, they were going up against them and they were losing, and they were also losing money. WCW decided by this time in 1989 they chose to actually have their own title. And this is where you see it. The NWA title is the WCW title, just before it probably transitioned away, and that's when WCW became what it was known. And let's make it very clear, it went through history. The match itself, let's make it very clear, these guys know how to wrestle. Everyone always says, who are old wrestling fans, Ric Flair is the greatest wrestler that has ever lived. Now, of course, you got always some other people say like Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, yes, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage. But they say that he is the best, not because he had the greatest moveset, but he knew how to read the fans, make the match great, and make his opponent look even better. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has always been a great wrestler, and he's always been a face. He's never been a bad guy. Not once in his career. He was allowed to stay good his entire career before he retired in the late 90s. But being honest here, I think it was late 90s, early 2000. But the point here is this. They both knew how to wrestle. They both knew how to read the crowd that was in Illinois. They were in Chicago. They knew that Chicago fans were going to go crazy, but they knew how to read them very well. As you saw the match, and I know a lot of people are not going to like it due to the fact that it was slow pace, there's no high flying much. Yes, Ricky the Dragon jumped onto the top turn rope a couple of times, does this aerial chop onto Ric Flair, but this is psychology more than it's aerial, guys. You need to understand, not every match has to be aerial or extreme, well, martial arts or gymnastics. Now, many people are going to say also, well, you're an old man. You don't know any better. The new stuff right now is what's being shown. Well, guess what? The new stuff now that's being shown, how come AEW's not getting anywhere? How? How when you look at WWE, that they getting huge amounts of money, but most of the matches that people are getting bored with are the extreme high-flying ones where they do the same moves over and over again as a spot. People like variation. People do like psychology. Now, I'm not going to tell you this match was one of the greatest I've ever seen. It isn't. I've seen a couple of Ricky the Dragon matches against Ric Flair, and it's better. But this is the first time Ricky the Dragon won his title. That's why I picked it. And it was a good match. But you could see the dirtiest player in the game, the true dirtiest player in the game of Ric Flair. You saw at one point he's cheating. I believe I got a shot of it where he puts his legs on the rope and the ref does not see his legs up there while Ricky is rolled up. But as the match progressed, and you saw that at the end, Ricky the Dragon does his crossbody, but instead of just getting Rick, he gets the ref. I believe his name is, I forgot what his name, Ted. I think his name is Ted. I don't remember his last name. But he's wiped out. Rick tries to roll him up, Ricky the Dragon, and unfortunately could not pin him. But then Ricky the Dragon manages to pin him as he's complaining about the ref being wiped out. And the Teddy Long, he is the one who does the 1, 2, 3. As you can see in my face, he does raise the title up, holding Ricky the Dragon's hand up, along with the actual ref. I believe I got that shot if it's not the one where it's just Teddy alone. He regains consciousness. He's complaining to the ref, and he finds out from someone who jumps into the ring that he got wiped out, but Teddy Long did the count. And he agrees with Teddy. So this is a very monumental moment for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and a good moment for Ric Flair, who had been champion for quite a while. Remember, Rick broke his back in 75. He came back, worked on himself, and became champion, in 1981? And he had been champ since, I think, 1981 to 1989, which is this match. So he's had a good amount of years going from one territory to another, putting people over with the original NWA title until this match in Chicago, where it's the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, not the NWA. Even though it said it was NWA, they're pretty much pulling this is before Championship Wrestling happened. This is before Eastern Championship Wrestling, ECW, did what happened here. It was doing it first. So I can tell you that this was a good match. It had some drama in it. The fans were going apeshit for this match. But in the end, you can't say that this wasn't something memorable. And that's how I feel about it. It was a memorable match. And I hope you enjoyed this wrestling recall. Please give me a comment below. And remember, watch the match first. You don't have to just comment. Unless you did see the match yourself already, either on YouTube or in real life. Just go watch the match and then come back and comment if you want. You get my commentary of review, not commentary, my review of it, and then you go and see, then you can comment afterward. But I want to say this. I've been considering something, because since I don't really do Raw or SmackDown anymore, because SmackDown's supposed to be getting better, but Raw, they said Raw was a stinker. I watched JD's video and then I watched it myself. Didn't like it. It wasn't 100% bad, but it felt really formulaic. And I'm like, I want to do something more, either on Friday or on Monday. And I really want to consider trying to review another promotion. Now, I thought of, did I think of Booker T's promotion of reality wrestling? Yeah, I did. I thought about it for a while, but I wasn't sure if I really wanted to watch it. Then I thought of MLW, and I wasn't sure about that one either. Then I thought, what about NWA? Now, they're on Roku right now. They went to another app, and they went to an app. They're not generally showing their content anymore. I think they were on Thriller at one point, and then they went to Roku, which at this point, they are now publicizing that the Roku, YouTube, not Roku. Let me give you like this. When I do my NWA review, because I'm considering doing it, and I'm going to do an overview of it, because I got to see how much they're willing to show weekly. Because if you go to Roku.com, you can see them for free, but you won't be able to see anything until the next episode. And it counts on if they're going to wait an extra week after that. So if it is that you are able to see it either on the same day it's released, or the next day, or the next week after that episode, so it's like 1 week late, I will do reviews of it. Even if it's 1 week late, I am considering doing reviews of it. I will leave a link below where you can watch it for yourself. Now understand, I want to make this very clear. To watch NWA on Roku, you have to enable DRM. You cannot watch it without DRM enabled. It'll be in your, counting on which browser you use. Either use Edge. If you use Chromium, don't use Chrome. Use Chromium. Or Firefox, or one of its derivatives. You must remember, if you want to watch NWA, you must enable DRM. Look in your settings, look for DRM, and then enable it, and you can watch it. Now, if you don't like DRM, but you want to see NWA, do what I'm doing. I will make sure I have a browser that is without DRM on. And when I want to watch it, I enable DRM, watch the episode, and then I turn the DRM off, because you can turn it off in your settings. So just for that show, I'm going to turn my DRM on in the settings, watch it, review it, take pictures of it, and then turn it off, and I don't have to worry about ever dealing with DRM, because I don't like DRM. But still, I want to watch this and review it. But this is just me. Peace.